jumping on this call. The people that jump on these calls, I always say the people that show up are the ones that go up. So congratulations to each and every one of you for hopping on. We got a very, very valuable content we're going to be sharing with you tonight. Jimmy Ezzell is our superstar leader. I've known this guy for about 4 years now. He's a very dear friend of mine, and I can tell you this man leads with his heart. He leads with integrity. And those of you that are on this call, you are not only in the right company, but you're in the right team, the right organization. I have been in this profession for 6 years, and I have never seen a team deliver the amount of content that this team delivers with the things that Jimmy and Mark have put together, the countless phone calls and overview calls and webinars. We are so blessed to have leaders that are constantly putting their time and effort to make things easier and better for us. So this man leads with integrity, has built major organizations. I have never seen him so excited about what we have our hands on with Sozo, and that gets me excited because this man knows business like no one else. And I'm excited and blessed to be on this journey with him and can't wait to share these Sozo products with the world. That being said, Jimmy Ezzell, are you with us?
I'm here, Wayne. Can you hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you now, brother. Go ahead and take it away.
Excellent, awesome. Well, Wayne, as always, buddy, thank you so much for just bringing energy and excitement to this call. And ladies and gentlemen, a lot of the systems, and Wayne's a pretty humble guy, but a lot of things that we have been putting in place, like the webinars and some of the technical stuff and some of the Facebook marketing, Wayne's been a very integral part of that development, and it's part of our leadership team. And Wayne, just thank you for what you're doing. And Wayne's got one of the biggest customer organizations in the entire company, him and his group, and they definitely lead by example, all across the country and around the world. So Wayne, thank you so much, buddy, for those kind words and the introductions. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a great call lined up for you this evening. I want to encourage you, tonight would be the night you want to take out a notepad and pen, take some notes tonight. And I just want to congratulate and welcome all of our brand new teammates, all the brand new teammates that have just joined our community, whether, you just joined us last week, this is your first Monday night leadership call, for anybody that maybe just joined in the last 24 hours. I know, this week is going to be another big week. We've been talking to if my voice is, a little scratchy today, it's because we've been talking to a lot of you leaders, as you know. A lot of you have been telling me this is going to be a huge week, kind of gearing up for this week. I don't know what it is just from a timing standpoint, but we got a lot of business going to hit this week, and I'm very excited. But I want to welcome all of you, welcome all of our brand new distributors, and just so you know, part of the system here within the Sozo community is that we do these Monday night leadership calls like clockwork. You're going to hear from great leaders like myself, Wayne Topola, Mark Petrel. You're going to hear from people like Michelle Rogers, Esther Bartos, Michelle Johns, Cynthia, J.R. Wells, all these leaders, up-and-coming leaders. This is the platform we use to help you with, your business in terms of leadership skills, some of the skills that will help you, become a top earner. This call is a little bit different. It's not scheduled. It's scheduled to be anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes go a little long, but the value is always there. And so set yourselves a reminder. Make this a top priority every single week. We say Monday nights is the night that you're going to get fed. And you'll hear from many of our leaders that have been on these calls for years that, literally we watched them just develop into incredible leaders. This is a platform for them to grow as well. And so, set yourselves a reminder to be on this call every single week. We've got a lot of things going on within the community. If you're brand new, if you've been under a rock and you haven't heard all the exciting things going on with Meridian, as you could tell, anybody on the product, anybody getting the product, anybody that knows it's coming, has been on it, flat out excited about our new Meridian product. And I think it's hitting everybody's mailboxes and doorsteps this last week and in the next few days. And so, I want to congratulate all of you that are on it and all of you that are going to be on it, because you're definitely going to see, a difference in what it does for you and your body and for your team. And so, brand new product launch just within the last few weeks here. And so make sure that you guys get on that product and definitely be a product of the product. We've got our Punta Cana trip in full effect. There's no doubt about it. It is the buzz within our Sozo community. Why? Because literally we think 300, 400, 500 people will qualify for that trip. And you've got a lot of time to qualify for that trip. August 31st. So the summer months. When you're out with all your families, you're at those barbecues and those picnics, you're out there sharing the Sozo story every day. If you just do what you're supposed to do, get customers, help your teammates grow, help them pass or qualify, help people rank advance, bring in new distributors, do the things that you're supposed to do, you'll easily qualify for that trip. I think it starts with a decision. I want to challenge any of you, if you're really absolutely committed, don't have a passport, go get that passport. That'll up the, what we like to call up the ante a little bit, and get yourself committed to making sure that you work towards that trip. Tell your family, tell your sponsors, tell your leaders, that you're gonna do whatever it takes to be on that trip. And one of the things that we talk about is accountability, and accountability is very important in this business. And if you're going to succeed in life, you're going to have some accountability. And once you make that that statement and that declaration that you're going to be on that trip, there's definitely going to be some accountability there for you, and that'll help you qualify for that trip. Also, October 8th through the 11th is our Diamond Retreat. And, one of the things that we like to tell people is if you stay plugged into these calls, it's like getting what we call an equivalent to a PhD. And a PhD can be, in terms of our industry, we call it a person headed to diamond. But if you stay plugged into these calls, you can get your PhD here, equivalent to it, especially from a financial standpoint. But our Diamond Retreat, our very first one ever, is going to be October 8th through the 11th. Then also Toronto this month, June 26th and 27th, huge event up there in Toronto, Canada. And we've got Larry Cantrell's going to be at that event. I think Paul Odom will be there as well. And, of course, all the incredible leaders up there in the Canada market. So put that on your calendar. And then Seattle, July 18th, we've got another great event up there on the West Coast in Seattle. Cynthia Simmons' group's going to be hosting that. Phenomenal leaders. One of the fastest growing groups in the entire company is out there in that Seattle, Utah region. All those leaders out there, J.R. Wells, Sally Turner's group, Cynthia Simmons, of course, and then Mark Petchel will be out there at that event as well. So put that on your calendar, July 18th. And, get ready for just, lots of things. We've got a corporate call after this call. You want to be staying plugged in. One of the things we talk about is that you want to stay around the fire, because this fire every week, I believe, is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we've got a lot of things in place for all of you to be able to stay plugged in. I was talking to one of my buddies. He's actually a leader in another company, and we haven't talked to him a lot. I got him a note the other day, just actually left him a voicemail just to see how he's doing, just to say hi and congratulate him on his new girlfriend. And he called me back, and one of the things we talked about was he asked me a question, and I never really thought about it. He said, Jimmy, you know why people, what keeps people going to Weight Watchers and the 12-step program? And I've never actually participated in either one of those, but I was trying to figure it out, and I said, well, probably the accountability. He said, well, very close. He said, it's the meetings. He said the reason why people stick with those programs is they get to the meetings. They get to something very consistent. And folks, we've got that happening within our own community here with our weekly trainings and all the morning brew calls. You get on there every day. You got some of that accountability. You're staying plugged in. We've got meetings going, all around the country in different parts of the country. And so definitely stay plugged in to what's happening here within the Sozo community. We don't want to give you any reason why you can say that, hey, those guys didn't help us build this business, didn't give us the venues to be able to plug into, because we definitely have those here within the Sozo community. Tonight I want to talk to you guys, kind of diving in a little bit into the training here. I want to talk to you guys about some things in terms of leadership tonight. One of the realities of this business, and one of the things you always get from me is I'll be very direct. I'm going to tell you, it's from tens of thousands of hours of experience. I'm going to share with you my own life experiences building this business, things that I've learned from all my mentors, right, in this business, ones that are silent mentors and ones that are actively mentoring. And one of the things that, some of the things I want to talk to you about tonight is really going to help many of you eventually become top earners, achieve the highest ranks in this company. And it really is about developing leaders. The word leader is thrown around quite a bit in this industry, and and I can tell you right now, if you're going to be a top learner, you've got to learn this skill tonight that we're going to talk about, and actually, how to become a great leader, right? How to be one of the best leaders, and because leaders build teams, and if you're going to build yourself a long-term stable business inside of network marketing, a long-term stable business. The key to that residual income is having, a long-term, stable business. And I want you to know this. Stability precedes profitability. Okay, stability precedes profitability. And it's very important that you plan right now as you're starting to build your business, even if you're brand new, that you want a very profitable business, right? But you got to have a stable business. And what keeps a business stable, all right, is leadership and teams of leaders out there that are building their business, right? One of the things, if you ever study, one of my favorite leadership in terms of development coaches, one of my mentors is Dr. John Maxwell. And he talks about the law of the edge. If you do any study of Mr. Maxwell, he'll talk a lot about the law of the edge, especially when it comes to leadership and developing teams. And he says that the difference between two equally talented teams is leadership, right? The difference between two equally talented teams is leadership. And folks, we're in the business. Yes, we're promoting the best of class world products in the world, best products in the world. We've got an incredible leadership team at our corporate office. We've got a great compensation plan that I'd stack up against anybody, and it's even getting better. But I can tell you right now, all things being created equal, when you take those things, if you're looking at our company and someone else's company, the reason why Sozo, if we're going to do what we want to do, become a billion-dollar brand, right? Is that we've got to have the best leaders. All right, we've got to have the best leaders. See, there's four things about the potential of a team, all right, or developing a team. The personnel determines the potential of the team. Who do we have that are joining our team that we can shape and mold and develop into great people. The vision determines the direction of the team. And Mark Adams has laid an incredible vision of our expansion into our global growth. All right. The work ethic determines the preparation of the team, and many of you are part of that. All the things that are part of the system part, where as reps we go out every single day, we show the plan, we do the meetings, we go to the events. Right? That's part of it. But leadership determines the success of the team. You've heard it many, many times. And if you haven't, everything rises and falls on leadership. And tonight, what I want to do is I want if you're going to title this, this training, the title would be "What Makes the Best Leaders the Best." Okay? What makes the best leaders the best? See, the best leaders, what they do is they give their best to their people. They give their very best effort to their people. Okay? They're not easily distracted. They're not. I think I'll do about 75% of what it takes to be successful here, to lead my organization. They don't think like that. They give their very best effort every single day. See, and sometimes what I think ends up happening, and not only in our industry, but just in life in general, is that we think that the best is so much bigger, right? To be the best in anything is so much bigger, so much grander than average, that sometimes we don't go for it. But you know what? A lot of times if you go back and study the most successful people, what their very best was that they were just a little bit more consistent. They were just a little bit more persistent in doing the things that they needed to do, right? And what you'll find out is that the best isn't that far, more grander than being average. It's just that they did things a little bit better, okay? And so the best leaders, they give their best to their people every day. And so you have to ask yourself, as I go through some of these things, how am I doing in terms of giving my best? Now, here's some things what leaders do in terms of giving their best. How do you give your best, right? Number one, leadership is about growing. We talk a lot about this, right? We talk a lot about personal growth. Work harder on yourself than you do your business. See, in order to do more, you have to become more. And when I talk to leaders every single day, within our own community, within our own teams, I can tell you the ones that are growing just by their conversations with them, by their belief systems, right? Because they're just having the conversations with leaders, you can tell who's truly growing, because here's what happens, is that their belief level affects their activity, which then, of course, affects their results, right? And if in order for you to do more, you have to be more, you've got to work on yourself, right? You've got to have that mindset that you're going to constantly be growing. You're in a growth conscious state for the rest of your life. Okay? And I love it when, I've heard this many, many times, you'll never change your life until you change something daily. And when you make that switch mentally that you've got to grow, then you're going to be able to give your best to your people. Now, here's some great growth questions. When was the last time you did something for the first time? Think about some of these questions and ask yourself this. When was the last time you did something for the first time? You know, we are, you know, we're going into some great global growth, and I'm constantly, one of the things that I'm trying to do is challenge myself to you know, learn new cultures, learn some of the new, you know, the new leadership, you know, because I'll be honest with you, I've never really built huge teams in Japan, and that I've been asking some of our teammates to teach me more of that culture, because I want to honor and respect their culture, and I want to be, when we go over there, we'll be prepared. So ask yourself, what are you doing every day, you know, to learn and to grow? What have you learned and applied this month? You know, we have all these training calls and you know, Thirsty Thursdays and the mindset calls on Saturdays, and all these trainings that are going on. Some of you have been to events. What have you learned and applied this month for you and your business? Okay? What are you doing daily to facilitate that growth? Remember, the best leaders give their best to the people, and you have to be growing. And here's what's one thing too. As you're on, as we promote, you know, growth, remember, you're in a learning organization. We'll constantly talk about, you know, all of us growing together. And here's the thing is that when you're learning, you know, the question for you is, are you teaching your organization? Are you teaching others in your organization what you're learning? I love to share all the books that I've been reading. Right, I'm reading The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. Actually, I read it once and made a whole bunch of notes, and now I'm going through it a second time. And you know, share with people what you're learning. Right, that's a great book because it's the life of a you know, a network marketer. And it's funny, I didn't know this, but Darren Hardy actually started out selling water filters way back in the day, and I'm pretty sure I know which network marketing company it was. But grow with your team. You know, sometimes leaders feel like they got to know everything before they share it with their teams. No. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're learning, you know, teach your teams what you're learning. Grow with them. If you find great videos and you learn something, you share a nugget, post it in the Facebook group so other people can learn it with you. All right? You don't need to keep that to yourself. All right? Share it with the other people so they can grow with you as well. All right? So how do you give your best? First one is growing. The second one is that the best leaders serve. See, one of the things that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to subject your ego to the need of others. You know, putting people before you. Serving others is an attitude issue. Okay? And serving others is a motives issue. It's that you've got to have that attitude that you're going to have to put others' needs before you. You know, building a successful team inside of network marketing is not going to be built around convenience. I can tell you that right now. Especially as we go more global, you're going to have to answer calls all different times. And if you're building on the West Coast and you live on the East Coast, there's definitely going to be some inconvenience. All right? And here's the thing. best leaders serve. You might have to sometimes do that financially. Okay. Financially, putting money back into your business, whether it's in terms of you traveling, maybe hosting events, those type of things. You're definitely going to have to serve in terms of giving your time, even as a part-timer. Right? I mean, these are, when you think of leaders that do a great job of serving, I think of people like Michelle Rogers or a Cynthia Simmons or a Dennis and Fran. Leaders that are constantly serving their teams. Okay? The best leaders, number 3, is the best leaders also model. We talk about show, shadow, duplicate. Modeling how things are supposed to be, what to do and how to do them. Okay? And modeling is very important because what ends up happening is you got to ask yourself, am I giving my best effort? Am I worth modeling for my team? Do they see me, plugged into the system? Am I getting, am I enrolling new prospects? If you haven't enrolled somebody in the last 30 days, you got to ask yourself, am I really doing a great job of modeling what should be done? Okay. Am I working on myself? Am I worthy of telling people to do personal growth if I'm not modeling that behavior myself? Okay. Am I fully engaged in the system? Am I, attending the morning brew calls? Remember, you hear this a lot. Leaders always show up. You can tell the leaders that are plugged in. The Wayne Toplos of the world, the Gilbert Fontecovas. You hear them on the calls all the time, right? The Laura Mufkeys, Esther Bartos. These leaders that are plugged in to the call. Sally Turner. Right? Chris out of California, you hear all these leaders that are just plugged into the system, plugged into the live calls, the webinars, and the corporate calls, going to the events. You see them at the events. Right? So the best leaders model. Now, the best leaders not only give their best to their people, but they also get the best from their people. And how do leaders get the best from their people? Well, number 1, they're good listeners. Okay? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I love that from Zig Ziglar because you know what? That's what this business is all about. You can never go to the top. Let me take it back. You could get lucky. All right? You could get lucky, but a very, very, very small percentage of people will ever do this. But for you to become a very top leader in this industry, you've got to help a lot of people. And you've got to listen to people. You've got to listen aggressively to the needs of your team. One of the things that we do, besides asking, point blank and directly of people, what are the biggest issues you deal with your business, but also if you're working every day, you're going to know what your team needs. A lot of these trainings we do, some of them we do within 30 minutes, because I laugh at that, but Michelle Johns and I have done trainings within 30 minutes of training calls, and we figure out, hey, what's our team need, and we just do a training, and they turn out great, right? Listening, because we're in the game, right? Great leaders have 2 sets of eyes. They've got the leader's eyes, and they got the follower's eyes. You've got to be able to cast the vision where we're going. I love what Mark Adams does. He's casting that vision for us to go global, right? But you also have the eyes of the followers. What is our team's needs right now? What are some of the improvements? I can tell you now, Mark Petchel and I were constantly going to the executive team, to tell the needs of the field. This week, we'll be doing the same thing. We have an advisory council meeting. We're going to be talking about things that can help us all become better. All right? So they get their best from the people. The leaders get the best from their people. Number 2, by observing, by watching their teams, watching their people, paying attention. When you're observing the needs of your team, you're not just listening, you're seeing what the team really needs. Okay? When you're doing one-on-ones or two-on-ones, if you're paying attention to what's going on Facebook, if you're doing three-way calls, if you're doing those mentoring and coaching calls, you're watching people's body language, you're observing everything. This is what good leaders do. To get the best from your people, you've got to know and observe. Not only are you listening, but you're observing what they're going through. Okay? One of the things that I like to do is as our team is growing, it's developing, I love to observe and see who on our team is gifted in certain areas. Okay? We've started to kind of figure this out within our own organization. We've got people that are very, they're just becoming experts in the product and gathering customers. The people like Laura Muckey, Sharon Pullman, the Mary Ann Cohees, those great leaders. They're phenomenal at that. We've got people that are mastering how to get, build globally through Facebook groups like Denise Blevins, Jennifer Bishop, Lisa Mohan, all these leaders that are doing incredibly well building their international business through Facebook groups. You just observe what people are really good at, what their skill sets are growing at. Video marketing, like J.R. Wells. You got people like Michelle Johns, who's incredible at relationship building. You got Cynthia Simmons, who's phenomenal at not only getting testimonies, but building those testimonies within our community. Incredible skill set. Or how about many leaders that you hear about that are just so inspirational in their stories and their journey, like Rick Goltz. How about Laura Muckey's story? Angie Osijic, her story, for where she came from the Philippines. Very inspirational. And you've got people like Mark Petchel, who's just another master teacher and trainer. Right? And then Mark Adams being a visionary leader. And so you get these things. You start to observe your teams, observe the other leaders, and pay attention to these things, because that's what a good leader does. Okay? Another way to get the best out of your teams is that they also, number 3, is that they relate. They connect with the people that they lead. Okay? To get the very best out of your people, you've got to be able to relate. You've got to be able to connect with them. Let me give you an acrostic here. C stands for consider them first. All right? Consider them first. O stands for open yourself up to them. Being vulnerable. Right? Being transparent. N, never violate their trust. There's a difference between speaking truth and integrity, right, than trying to deceive people. The other N is never manipulate them. Okay? You don't need to manipulate people. And remember, they're not here for your check. They're here for their dreams and goals. Right? E, encourage them at every opportunity, even the smallest thing. Okay, when they do good work, right, and they deserve it, encourage them. C, constantly add value to their lives. And T, treat them with respect. Right? And I want you to think about this. They relate, they connect with people that they lead. Who were your best teachers, coaches? Growing up, who were they? You probably can remember, right? And the reason why you remember them is probably because you connected best with them. Even our closest friends. Why do we get along so well? It's because we connect with them. Right? There was an instant connection the first time I met Michelle Rogers and Curtis. When I met Wayne Toppler in Kansas City, there was an instant connection. Right? And they're all dear friends of ours. Never met Cynthia until face-to-face to the Dallas event. Total instant connection. I knew we were going to be in the trenches a long time together. Same with J.R. Wells and Sally, and they were not even necessarily in the same lineage, but an instant connection. Gene Mullen, right? So people you can connect with. Right? So they get the best people because they connect and they relate. Number 4, they're teaching. All right? You get the best from your people because you're teaching them. See, if you do the first 3 things, the first 3, listening, observing, connecting really well, it's much easier to be an effective teacher. See, you want to cause people to learn. What we're hoping to do, with our platforms here, with our leadership calls and all the, morning brew calls and the trainings is cause you to want to get on these calls, right? To want to stay plugged in. because you're getting some of the knowledge that you need that you can go put and apply into your business each and every single day. Remember, we're a learning organization. And if you stop growing today, you stop teaching tomorrow. The law of the teacher. If you stop growing today, you stop teaching tomorrow. It's important that we constantly are growing. It's important that we're constantly teaching. Number 5, it's about developing people. And this is a big one. See, there's a huge difference between training and developing people. See, when we train people, we're focusing on the job, basically, okay? But when we develop people, we focus on the person, all right? When we develop people, we focus on the person. See, when we train people, we have value to, like, specific things, like maybe this is how you do this, or this is your follow-up, maybe whatever it may be, right? But when we develop people, we add value to everything. You want to get into the mindset that you're here not just to train people, but to develop people. That's why the Monday Night Call is designed to develop people. Yes, we're going to give you some skill set training and things like that as these calls progress. But if you notice, a lot of it is to help you develop into a person, develop into an incredible leader, to one of the best leaders. See, training people is helpful for a short time, but developing people is helpful for a lifetime. I love looking at many of my friends. Maybe they're not in our company, and I've watched them over the years. I mean, just like the gentleman I was just telling you about. He's in a travel company, and man, he is leading the charge. And he told me that they say, one of the things that I miss the most, Jimmy, is just having conversations with you. We took the time to help develop him into a great leader, and now he's one of the top leaders in his company. Love it. See, the result of training people is changed performance, but the result of developing people is changed for a lifetime. And that's what we want. We want to develop people. The best leaders are committed to developing people. That's how you get the best out of your team. Number 6, the best leaders empower others. See, great leaders know how to make other leaders feel great. That's why even within our own system, it's by design. We have a Monday night leadership call. You're not going to hear me always train. We're raising leaders up. And if you've listened to Wayne Topola do a training, every time he trains, I've watched him from his very first one to last week just knock it out of the park. You hear Michelle Rogers just growing like crazy. You hear Michelle Johns a few years ago would never even say her name on a call. And now when she trains, one of the best responses. All those great leaders. You hear Cynthia Simmons on Tuesday morning do her calls, and you can just watch her every week get more and more powerful. Mark Petchel continues, years, decades, and just a phenomenal leader. See, the best leaders empower others to become great. See, we help people learn from their mistakes as they're out there building their business. And, and when people mess up, and if they're open to it, if they're open to accountability and mentoring, okay, you can help them become empowered. And you got to stick with them. Listen, I know out of the group that I personally work with and mentor, not everybody's going to like everything I say to them. But at the end of the day, I still believe in them, and I'll never give up on them. You got to stick with them. You got to back up their decisions, right? Once you're both in agreement, and then you just go. But the best leaders empower others, right? The best leaders also, number 7, that they're great at motivating. It's about motivating your team. So to get the best from your people. If you've listened to them, if you've observed, if you've related to them, if you've been teaching them, if you've been developing them, and you've been empowering them, it's very easy for people to be, to motivate people. Very easy to do that. If you've done the other 6, the 7th one, helping, it's very easy to get them motivated. And see, sustained motivation is the result of doing the right things and creating the right environment. definitely want to write this one down. Sustained motivation is the result of doing the right things and creating the right environment. And that is our goal. Remember, I talked about this. Culture is not just us saying we serve our distributors above all else. And that comes from the very, very top. Culture is action. The things that we're doing each and every single day to help empower our leaders, to help empower our teams, right, and to grow together. And the best leaders know how to inspire people to go to work, to do the action. All right? And so these 10 things, 10 things, when you look at it, the best leaders, they give their best to their people. And how do they do that? They do it by, first of all, they're growing, right? They're serving and they're modeling. And then they get their best from their people is because they're good listeners. They do it by observing, and they do it by, relating and connecting with their people. And also they're teaching, and they're developing their people, and they're also empowering them and also motivating them. When you put those things together, that's what the best leaders do. And when you put them all together, you know what? That's the formula for winning. That's a winning team. And I wanted to do this call because I had so many, asked for some input, and you start to put everything together, it still boils down to what I believe is one of the things that we got to have. We've got to be able to understand that this business is about developing leaders. Yes, we've got, like I said, best-in-class products. Yes, we've got a phenomenal compensation plan, but it starts not only from the very top with our executive team and Mr. Mark Adams, right? But it also, from the field standpoint, is that we want to have the best leaders. We want to develop the best leaders. Why? Because all things equal, the teams that go build into the billions of dollars of sales have to have the best leaders. And we want to start to create that movement, that culture now. All right? And so just remember this. To be one of the best leaders, it's not so much, grander or bigger than what you think. You've heard the 212 degrees water starts to boil, right? And so at 209, 210, it's still just, it's not even boiling, it's just still hot. But once it hits that 212, boom, it starts to boil. And that's what the best leaders do. Just that one extra degree is what makes them the best leaders. They're consistent. They do those things that we talked about. And that 1 degree, it's not that much bigger, only 1 degree, but it helps them become the best leaders. All right? And so tonight, evaluate yourself. Evaluate yourself. Take notes of as we start to cast the vision of the team that you're going to build. As we go to put this company into momentum, be prepared. These are the things that will help you determine what the best leaders and how to build the best leadership teams in your organization. All right. And so I hope this helped you out. I'd love to hear from some other leaders. Hit *2 if you'd like to add any comments. Any of our top leaders, love to hear any input you'd like to give on this call. Hit *2, and we'll bring you out here. Who wants to go first? Wayne, you want to add anything? Go ahead, buddy.
Yes, absolutely. Great training, Jimmy. You knocked it out of the park again. I absolutely loved it, especially point number 5 on developing people instead of training somebody. There's such a huge difference there. When you train them, it's just short-term for success. When you're developing them, it's long-term. And I absolutely love that point. So thank you so much for this wonderful call. I absolutely love logging on. I hardly miss any of the coffee calls. I never miss Monday night calls because I know every day I'm going to learn something new. So thank you very much, Jimmy.
Absolutely, buddy. Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate you so much. You have no idea. Awesome, buddy. Let's see here. I think this is Michelle Johns. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm here, Jimmy. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, great. I just want to say thanks for a great call. You've been doing these for a decade now, and I learn something new every single time. I can tell you what, the training tonight was near and dear to my heart. So many things that you talked about, I could talk about so many things, but I think it's really important. I can't remember exactly what you called it. I was driving home, I try to make sure I get on these calls. I was actually driving when I first got on, but when you were talking about you have to do to lead. So you have to be out there doing to lead and about being vulnerable. And I think that's a real key thing for everybody to keep in mind. Because what sometimes we think to be a leader is, you have to be double, triple diamond or whatever. But what happens is your story, where you're at, you are a leader when you start hitting each of those goals, whether it's fast start and then you bring a person and you help that person get there. And I think that's the really cool thing about what we do. So I just appreciate you, going over all this stuff and just helping people understand, being a leader is really just being active and taking the actions we need to do. And thanks for laying out the plan for us. I appreciate you so much. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate you as well. Let's go to, it looks like Gilbert, Miami, Florida, buddy. Go ahead.
Hey, Jimmy. Hey, brother. Great call, man. As always, great training. Took a bunch of notes, and you're absolutely right, Jimmy. This industry is about building other leaders, and that's what helps you get what you want. Like they say, you help enough people get what they want, and you'll get what you want. So, it's all about building leaders. You're absolutely right. And I really appreciate you, Jimmy. You've done a great job on building a bunch of leaders, and many more to come, Jimmy, all around the world. So I really appreciate you, and I'm glad that I call you my friend, my business partner, and my mentor, brother. Love you, man. Back to you, Jimmy. Let's get it.
Awesome. Gilbert, you're doing a great job, buddy. Appreciate you as well. Last but not least, I think, maybe it's Michelle, Montana. Go ahead.
Hey, Jimmy, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. I just want to thank you for amazing training this evening, and just for having the time, for taking the time, not necessarily having the time, because you're such a very busy person. It sometimes blows my mind that you can still take the time and mentor us and help us to grow into better leaders. And one thing that you said tonight is, you mentor a lot of people, and they don't always like what you have to say. But that's the good. I will admit there are times I've got off the phone and I'm like, I can't believe he just said that to me. But then it sinks in, and I realize that this is you helping to mold me and train me to be a better leader, and to see where I do have my flaws and the things that I need to work on to help me grow so that I can help other people. And just for all of you out there, there's not a single one of us that Jimmy has, called out as a leader who were not just like you, sitting on the call, listening, thinking, that would be really cool if I was included in that someday. All you have to do is have an open mind, be coachable, and have a drive. Those are kind of the big things that it takes to become a leader and, start leading other people. And, the biggest thing is obviously, taking criticism as well, constructive criticism. But nonetheless, Jimmy, I really want to thank you. I would not be in the position that I'm in. I would not be where I'm at if it wasn't for your for your molding and your caring, and sometimes with a smile and other times with a stern voice. But nonetheless, I greatly appreciate it. You've helped so many of us, and I'm looking forward to all of us being able to help rise up more leaders. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. And, what I love about, you heard from some great leaders. We have so many more. You heard many of them, talked about on the call, is that, I always tell people this, in our industry, we know that, you've heard me talk about, you're looking for those people that just have that intense, burning desire to change. And when once they get that, and they know that they've got to step it up, and they've got to be 100% committed to their business, and their success or failure depends on them, not their sponsor, not their applied success team. Yes, they're going to get the counsel, yes, they can get the training and the mentorship, things like that, but they're still responsible. And when you find those kind of people, you're looking to build those self-sustaining leaders. See, I don't have to call Wayne up every day and ask him if he's going to work. He's going to work. I don't have to call Michelle or Michelle Johns or Michelle Rogers or Gilbert. I don't have to call those leaders, or Esther. Actually, she calls me. You don't have to call these leaders. You don't have to call Mark. Paul or Mark Adams, they don't call, Mark Petchel to get him out of bed, go to work. That's what you want. You want to become a self-sustaining leader. You're going to go be successful with or without anybody else, because you know what? The vehicle is here, and we've guys that just take this thing and run it. So with that, everybody, we are absolutely excited, fired up about what's going on here at Sozo. And, just remember, we've got a call right after this corporate call in about 15 minutes. But tonight, I want you guys to say, when you sign off, I want you to go ahead and say, actually, we've got one more. Hold on one second. One more. Let's see here. I think this is Virginia. Who is this?
This is Denise.
Who do we have out in Virginia? Oh, Denise, go ahead.
Hey, how are you?
Great.
Listen,
go ahead,
I just wanted
Denise.
to say thank you, actually, for this, phenomenal training call. There are times, actually, whenever you say things, and it just resonates, and it's like you're speaking directly, to me about specific things. And I just want to thank you, actually, for your leadership and just for your mentorship and, just for causing, me and everyone else just to kind of, strive to be better and just to help other people. So I just want to thank you very much for that. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, Denise. You're welcome. I'm so proud of you. And, I know what, you know what's going on in your business, and I do too. And I'm so fired up and excited about watching what's about to happen in your business. And so keep up the great work. It's all by design, just so you know, Denise, you're doing a great job. Appreciate you. So, all right, everybody, we're going to wrap this call up so we can get some water and get ready to jump on the next call. But I want you guys to just fill this line with some energy. As we're halfway through the month of June. We're going into the biggest times of the year, okay? We've got contests going on. We've got new countries about to open. We've got even more stuff going on behind the scenes and new product releases, all these things. And I want you guys to fill this line with some energy tonight as we go out and crush this week and make it one of the biggest weeks ever. And tonight, when you sign off, I want you to say, I'm going to be one of the best leaders. I'm going to be a best leader. Or no, I want you to say, I am the best leader. All right? And just say that tonight and say it like you mean it. And let's go out on the count of three and get ready for our next call. So 1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
I am a leader. I'm the best leader.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you on the next call. Have a better than great week. Take care, everybody.